Imagine coming here in the next 10 years, no history of your existence in this school. Nobody wants that, right? We don't want that. You can even say, no, I don't want that. How do you contribute to make sure that your history doesn't get disappeared? You can do that by helping to promote a dying language.
Music.
Did you get that? Thank you so much.
Can I have everybody's attention real quick? So I kind of walked around the classrooms earlier with them, but we do have a special guest, a couple of special guests here actually. One of them is, so give your attention to this.
Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Ima Asoye. I'm from Nigeria, here with my family. In 2010, Dr. Honor came to Nigeria, we met, and from then he and Kat started funding the school program that my wife and I were running, and we were giving organic food to students, and that was the first in history in schools. Private schools in Nigeria are owned by individuals. There's nothing like charter schools, so for individuals own schools, government owned public school. So we owned a private school, and PEP used to fund that program until 2015-16. I was invited by the University of New Mexico to come over to study as a postdoc researcher in indigenous sign languages. So over time, my organization developed the first mobile app in sign languages, in indigenous sign languages. And we collected lots of sign languages across Nigerian communities and Ghana. And you could see how beautiful those sign languages are. And you could see the history that way back into the 15th centuries, that communities in Africa, in America, had well-developed sign languages that people used to communicate across different communities. But over the time, as time went on, these sign languages were dropped. And here in America, they were dropped at the preference of American Sign Language. So a lot of people today think that the only sign language that the deaf people use is American Sign Language. But over our communities, people have well-developed signing systems that children were supposed to learn or acquire as soon as they get born and before they get over to school and learn the conventional. So over the time, I had to incorporate spoken languages and cultures into my work. And the reason for this is because you all know that we are in the era of artificial intelligence, whereby we are shifting so much and so fast into the tech world, where a whole lot of things is being processed by the computer. But my work is trying to get us to not forget that anything and everything you are using today about technology is processed through our cultural environment, including your computer, including your cell phone. the cell phone hardware, one of the places they get the raw material is in Africa. And so when you have your cell phone, remember that is a product of a cultural material. When you have your laptop, your Chromebook, remember that is a product of a cultural material. And that is to say that there is no scientific world without a cultural world. It is a cultural world that makes us who we are. And over the years, UNESCO launched what we call International Decade of Indigenous Languages. Why? Because they say every 2 weeks, at least one language dies. Imagine that your indigenous language is one of those that has disappeared over the face of the earth. You know what that means? It means that your culture, your community, your ancestors, their history has disappeared. I don't know how you will feel in our world today where we have large devices and large instruments for documentation. After your time on earth, nobody remembers you. Is that a good thing? Is that? No. We want to be remembered, at least for the lifetime that we lived here. That is what happens to every culture that disappears on earth. They get forgotten. So how do we play a role here? As students, we can engage in researches about other languages than English. We can engage. We have learned English. We all speak English. But there are so many languages that are dying every day. As they continue to die, the history of the people that spoke those languages, that did inventions in those languages, they get disappeared. I don't want to be forgotten that way. I want to be remembered far after I have been gone. And that is how the world goes. Because if you do not have those historical artifacts, those historical facts, you are not learning today. Because what you're learning in school is not the future, right? You are learning the past, the present, and the future. And if you don't have the past, there's no present, and there's no what? Future. Because all whatever we have today are being built by people that were here before us. That's why we have history in science. That's why we have history in law. We have history in every part of whatever we study. History is in the guy that invented electricity. History is in the guy that invented aeroplane. History is in the guy that invented clothing, housing, and everything. So if you have an invention today, PepTech has it. All these walls are made up of collectibles. Some of the artwork you guys have done. Imagine coming here in the next 10 years, no history of your existence in this school. Nobody wants that, right? We don't want that. You can even say, no, I don't want that. How do we contribute to make sure that your history doesn't get disappeared? You can do that by helping to promote a dying language. So today, I have programs that we are doing to carry along indigenous culture, signed and spoken. Whether you are deaf or hearing, you can be part of this project. And that is what we go around the world to speak about it. Students can be part of it because we don't want our world to be devoid of our history as much as we are getting into artificial intelligence. Because if it happens, we are going to be replaced by robots. And in the next 50 years, people might think that it was only robots that lived in this world. Robots don't have names, even though we try to give them one. Your name signifies your identity, it signifies your history, your lineage, and you want to be remembered, at least if not for any other thing, that you lived in this world. And so that is why we go around to make the students, young and old, to know this. And I'm happy to share this with you today. In the state of New Mexico, we built a very large community of students who dance in African dance, students who eat our African food, students who dress just like my family is dressed here today, and students who display different kinds of cultural artifacts, and they're happy doing that because even in America, they can identify with their roots. Identify with your roots. Thank you.
Gaga music.
No, no, no.
batobolo batosu. I bakolo batano bodo. I batobolo batobi. Ibada wa bambangolo ba. Iyewe jebeme. Imana ina buy speed in ebu kolo ta. Iyewe jebeme. Ugo simba batago. They don't they look abananya. Aruka kwa batago. They don't they look abananya. Ima no boda ni bunne bodo. Ima no boda ni bwaka bodo. I think I room boy sanelele. La riga ga nyele fino television ora.
Amala ka sa no yegi je ko nyele ngodu wenu no mmebu. Ora deli je una no webu na meke nulo. Ane ku amene ya no bodo. Ku nyenye kele. No bodo ane ku amene ya no bodo. Ku nyenye kele. No bodo. I said, I'm a kankaneg. I said, big